Thank you for making a time for an interview during your busy schedule.
You're very welcome, Iris, and it's a pleasure to be interviewed by a very young, you're 10 years old, by a very young but very dedicated sports journalist or just journalist?
Sports journalist.
And I'll tell you what's amazing about what you're doing. You interviewed me before in Riad at the Bivol Beterbiev fight. That was in October, and then we're now in December. We're on the edge of the fight week for Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. It's an absolute privilege to give up some time and to give you some answers and hopefully some inspiration and hopefully some advice today for your career.
Next week you will be in Riyadh for the Tyson Fury and Usyk rematch. Are you excited, and who will you cheer for?
I won't cheer for anybody. In my heart, I would like Tyson Fury to win. In my head, I think Alexander Usyk is the favourite. But I just think Tyson Fury can win it because it was a very close fight first time. And he had the eye cut before the fight, so he wasn't able to spar as much. I've spoken a lot to his camp. They say they're ready. A lot of people inside boxing think Usyk is the favourite, which I understand because he hurt Tyson Fury in the 9th round. But for me, I think the Gypsy King, he's never been beaten before, but now it's his comeback, it's his most important fight, and I just think Tyson Fury is going to win on points this time. And I am excited for it, but I'm always excited for the big fights. Excited is one thing. I also know it's going to be a lot of work. I'll be working for TalkSport Radio. I'll be writing stories for the Daily Telegraph newspaper. I'll be doing social media. I'll probably get interviewed by you. I'll get interviewed by Saudi Radio. So I'm excited in a work way.
What do you think of Riyadh season boxing commercials, and what do you think of Riyadh season as a whole?
Riyadh season has been amazing for boxing because they've used boxing as a big selling point for the Riyadh season, which obviously is known around the world now. I think a year ago, before the Saudi Arabians invested in boxing, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Gia, I don't think people in the sports world where I'm from really knew what Riyadh season was, but everybody knows what it is now. I think it's amazing culturally, societally, musically, because it's bringing East and West together. I think it will become a destination for many people. And I'm really pleased that it happened because I think it's really made a difference to the sport I work in, boxing. It's really made a big difference because it's given a lot of fire to a lot of fighters and promoters, and they're all working together more.
How was your experience in the Paralympic Games in Paris?
I always enjoy the Paralympics because it's many special people with disabilities, but they're not really disabilities. It's what they're able to do. Paris was amazing. The British team is very big and there's lots of funding for Paralympians, so we have a very strong delegation there. I just find that the human interest stories, which is what I love about fight sports as well, makes me feel very alive, very inspired, and I think the world, as you know, as you've said, the world's brought together by sport, but people, even if they're not into sport, are inspired by the stories of the Paralympians because they do extraordinary things. People born with no legs, people who've had car accidents, people who've broken their backs, human beings who know that their spirit is still alive inside them. And I think more than sport, it's just about how amazing human beings can be.
So what are your thoughts on boxing being removed from the Olympics?
Well, that's a very interesting question because I've just been here at a conference in Dubai with the International Boxing Association, the world's governing body for amateur boxing, with Umar Kremlev, who's the president, and they have left the door open for the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, to still have amateur boxers in the Olympics. What do I think about it not being in the Olympics? I think it's a real shame. I think it should be in the Olympics. I think it's great for amateur boxers. Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Anthony Joshua, Vladimir Klitschko, Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones Jr., so many, Alexander Usyk, Vasyl Lomachenko, so many modern boxers have done so well in the Olympics. And it gives them a platform from starting in the sport to the Olympics, to the amateur code, into the professional code. But I think what the IBA, the International Boxing Association, are doing under Mr. Kremlev is very interesting, because they've left the door open for the IOC to say, yes, be involved with us, bring us into the Olympics again. But we're going to create our own amateur and professional arm. They're having lots of tournaments next year, and amateurs can earn money from winning medals in the amateur competitions. And I think it's all progress, but I think it will be a great shame if we don't get amateur boxing in the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. I think they'll find a solution. And I think it will be there, in my view. It was there in Tokyo and it was there in Paris, organised by the IOC. And I think it's too big a thing not to have it in the Olympic Games.
You recently launched your book, Call of the Warrior.
Yes.
So, could you tell us more about it?
Yeah, thank you very much for asking. I'm very proud of my book. No doubt you will do a book eventually. It's only taken me 34 years in the journalist industry to write a book, but it's a big book. It weighs 2.2 kilos. It's a very heavy coffee table book. It's called Call of the Warrior, and it's by myself and a photographer called Sonia Jasinski, who's an amazing photographer, and 3 other photographers, Louis Kassam, Carlo Chianti and Chris Floyd. And the whole idea of the book is it's black and white photographs, 256 pages, 28 essays, and it's all showing boxers behind the scenes, why they fight. Because I don't think it's normal to fight in a boxing ring. It's a calling. It draws you to want to do it. So I go behind the scenes, if you like, with every essay, about things I know about all these boxers: Anthony Joshua, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, the promoters, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, Eddie and Barry Hearn, Oscar De La Hoya, Canelo, Bivol. Beterbiev isn't in it, but he'll be in the next one. Bivol, Gennady Golovkin, many, many others. Jake Paul and KSI. Are you surprised?
Very surprised.
Well, I've put KSI and Jake Paul in it because they're very unusual characters in the boxing world right now. They have brought together what is professional boxing and YouTuber boxing, influencer boxing, but they have so many people interested in it. I thought it was important to show that they've shifted something in the balance of how boxing is. I don't think they're bad for boxing. They're not professional boxers, but they're not bad for boxing. So the book is about these people, who they are, why they are. The photo shoots of them behind the scenes more. It shows them as vulnerable. It shows them as funny. It shows them as human. And it shows them that boxing, fighting, is very unusual calling. It's now in the Iconic Images Gallery in London, which we're very proud of. It was a lot of work. I've been asked many times to write books on boxing, other people's life stories and different things, but I'm really glad I waited to do this. It was what I call a labour of love. It was very hard work. I didn't think I'd get it finished. I want to thank Sonia Jasinski, the photographer and the publisher, for making me finish it. I had some real serious health issues during it, heart attack and a stroke during the 5 years we were doing it. And Sonia, the photographer, always said to me, "You better not die before you finish the book." She was joking, but it became a joke between us. I'm glad it is finished. I'm very proud of it. I had a nice message from Anthony Joshua today. Mike Tyson, I presented the book to. He really liked it. Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano are in it. They loved their books.
I might write a book one day.
I'm sure you will. Do you like reading books?
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to have to get a copy of the book to you so you can read it. And you can put it on Mum and Dad's coffee table at home. It's a coffee table book. And the whole idea with the book is that you flick through it. It's beautiful photographs, all black and white. So it's kind of iconic to look at. Because when you take colour out of photographs, it just gives them an iconography. It gives them an image where the colour distracts your eye, whereas when it's two-tone, it doesn't. And the whole idea is you can flick through and read any essay. You'll look at the pictures first, because that's what everybody does, and then you'll read it later.
So what skills are important for young sport journalists to develop?
What a great question, Iris. Well, you know some of them already. Researching is really important, and you've done that already. You knew about my book. You knew about Anthony Joshua making a video with it, which is brilliant. One of the things that is worth doing, and this goes back to a very old journalist, essayist in the UK 150 years ago, a guy called Samuel Johnson, who I study. Research meticulously, simplify, then exaggerate. Yeah? And it's a way of... That's how the tabloids, the red tops, make their stories. Commitment when you're young, like you're committed to your job now already at your age. All those things, really. You're going to be in Riad for the return of Better Be Evan Bivol on February the 22nd. Yeah. I think you're there for Fury and Usyk next week, as you are. Wow. Mm-hmm. I think you're the perfect example of it. I just think follow your passion. If you have a passion for it, follow it, but be dedicated, because put in the hard yards and the hard graft, and it becomes easier and easier. I've been doing this for nearly 35 years, and my passion is still there, and it does get easier because people appreciate what you've done, and people know sometimes, not every sports person, but certainly in my world, in the fight world, people know how you interview, they know how you write, they know that you are looking for deep stories and inspirational stories, and you'll give them respect.
What are the key elements of an engaging sports article for kids?
Wow. For kids? Wow, okay. Well, years ago for The Telegraph, I used to run a weekly column and an awards programme called School Sport Matters. And I believe that sport does matter for children, for people. I believe in competitiveness. I believe in sport for all as well. And for me, Iris, I think heroes are important, because all young people love heroes. Heroes inspire people into the sport. Look at you and Kylian Mbappe. You met him and it inspired you into sports journalism. I think giving kids the opportunity to play lots of sports is important.
How did the rise of social media change sport journalism?
Everything happens much quicker now. You have to adapt and adopt to it. You have to be involved, I think, in Twitter. As you know, you've got your own Instagram and YouTube channels. Those are very important. The mainstream journalism is changing to digital journalism, and that's really been happening for the last 10 years. You know, and as an older person, I needed to stay up with that and have those social media platforms. And it just means you've got to react quicker.
Can you describe a typical day in your life as a sport journalist?
No. I'll tell you why. Because there's no typical day. Every day is different, and that's what I love. Sometimes it's sitting at home at your desk all day, writing interviews up. or recording online on Zoom calls, having meetings, planning meetings, because I'm working with a newspaper, radio, television companies, my own website sometimes, my own little YouTube channel. So one day can be at home, just working from my desk at home. Another day can be travelling to another country around the world and working in a airport lounge in the back of a taxi on the way to the plane, getting Wi-Fi on the plane, working on the plane on the way over. There's always deadlines. Deadlines where people want ideas, deadlines when they want stories delivered, deadlines where I have to sit in my hotel room and put a light on, and like your recording device here, put a light on, film myself, have a wash quickly, put a shirt on and get ready to do the interviews. I like to have a coffee before I do all these things because it just wakes me up. Then another day or another week, like next week, will be go to Riad, be there on the Monday morning, go and do interviews and filming with TalkSport Radio, write some stories, travel around the city, try and have a swim in the mornings to give a little bit of me time. And then every evening there's an event, press conference, workouts, weigh-ins, fight night. I try and have a rest on the Saturday morning before a fight night because it always ends late, and I'm always broadcasting but also writing at the same time, Telegraph newspaper and TalkSport Radio. So every day is so different. And then there's other days when I don't have work and I'm on a day off and my mind is thinking about ideas for stories. It's almost non-stop. It's almost like a calling. It's the call of the journalist.
Who would you have liked to interview but never got the chance to?
I think Muhammad Ali. One of the people I love in the fight world is Mike Tyson. I think he's an amazing human being. I'd love to sit down and go very, very deep with Mike Tyson. I haven't had a chance to do that. But Muhammad Ali I would love to have interviewed, but he wasn't really talking very much when I was involved in journalism. I met him 4 times, but it was more eye contact. I wrote some big pieces about him, about his life, about his boxing. I think he's one of the greatest people. I'd like to have gone back in time and interviewed Jack Johnson, the first African-American, first black heavyweight champion of the world, and to talk to him about his life. Because I think it was very tough for those guys back then. But pretty much all the people in my time, I've had a chance to interview. So it's been pretty amazing. Floyd Mayweather, Tyson Fury many times, Alexander Usyk, Sugar Ray Leonard. I said Floyd Mayweather. A lot of big names in the sport. I'm very lucky. If it was from another sport, let's think. I would like to have interviewed. I was around him once and didn't interview him for very long. But Maradona, the footballer, I would love to have had a day with Maradona, or done this like you're doing with Maradona. For me, he was just special. I think he's the greatest footballer ever, for me, and such a wild character, and I love that about him.
What's your favorite food that you like to cook? And would you share the recipe, please?
Oh, wow, the favourite food I like to cook. Well, it's normally a haddock or cod loin with vegetables and lentils, because I love fish food. But I will start, it's a mixture of things. I like to start with a prawn cocktail, because I love prawns or shrimps. I love seafood. Do you like seafood?
I love seafood
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah, I get it. So then I like to put haddock or cod in foil, aluminium foil, put some butter and herbs in, grill it, saute vegetables, and warm up some lentils. I like puy lentils, you know, the black lentils? They're lovely. And I put some sweet chili sauce in the lentils, and I just bake that, and I just really like that fish, the vegetables, which can be either in the oven, baked, sautéed, or in the microwave. Nothing wrong with the microwave, with some lentils, And yeah, I'll start with the prawn cocktail. That is my favourite food. What's your favourite food?
Actually, I like to try new things.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm in the mood for sushi.
Okay, nice.
Or pasta.
Okay.
Maybe lasagna.
Okay, so you like Italian food, you like Japanese food.
When did you start riding a motorcycle, and what's your favorite motorcycle?
My favourite motorcycle, and I had two of them, is the Kawasaki Z1300, a 6-cylinder motorbike that is so heavy. I've got a Yamaha Phaser 1000. I started riding motorcycles when I had a 50cc moped when I was 18, and I was working in a Ribena making factory, and I had to go 9 miles from my parents' house to the factory in that summer before I went to university. And from there I took my full license. I've always had a motorbike. I've always had a motorbike from the age of 18, so I've had one for 40 years. Now I've got the Phaser 1000, and I only ride it when it's sunny and dry.
Perfect.
I've had 3 motorbike crashes. You have to be very careful on a motorbike. You going to get one?
Maybe.
There you go. Good.
What music do you like to listen to?
Oh, I love music. I love so many different types of music. I love voices. I like classical music. I like rock music. I love so much different music. I like reggae. I like African music. I've got into Middle Eastern music since I've been coming here more. I don't really have a favourite. I tend to listen to everything, but if it was more than anything, it's kind of rock music, and as I say, and voices. What about you?
I like different types of musics. Some of my favorite singers is maybe Teddy Swims is one of them.
Yeah.
And that U2, like the one that sang Hold Me Close.
U2?
Yeah.
Okay. I like U2 as well.
Yeah. So, like, many people, actually. Now the Blitz questions. Cat or dog?
Definitely a dog.
Tea or coffee?
Definitely coffee.
Phone or message?
Phone or a message? Depends what mood I'm in and how busy I am, but probably a message now. I think I've changed. I think since mobile phones have come in, it's a message. But sometimes it's lovely to catch up on the phone with someone.
Yeah. Sometimes, like...
You can't hear tone in a message, whereas you can hear tone in the voice.
True.
You know? Whether someone's angry, or whether someone's happy, or whether someone's excited, or whether they're passionate. You can't always tell that in text.
Winter or summer?
Definitely summer. I love the sun. I love to be outdoors, cycling, paddleboarding with my laptop, swimming. I'm definitely a summer person.
Yeah, I like the sun too. But me, I'm like maybe a winter person sometimes.
Why?
I like the cold, and especially in Doha, it's like usually very hot.
Oh, so you want the cold. Yeah, do you ski and all those kind of things or not?
One day when I went to Chamonix, my parents took me to skiing classes, but that was like for only a little amount of time. Movie or a book?
That's a difficult one. Oh, what's yours, movie or book?
Sometimes movie, sometimes book. It depends.
That's the answer I had in my head. Sometimes a movie, sometimes a book.
Comedy or thriller?
Thriller. Love a thriller because I like the intrigue of a thriller, and I like it when you don't know what's going to happen next. I love to laugh, so I like a comedy in that way, but if I'm going to sit down and watch a series or a film, it's definitely a thriller.
Boxing or MMA?
Oh, did you have to ask me that? Boxing or MMA? I'm going to answer this in two ways. a big boxing event and a big MMA event. I love them both. But if I was going to choose one right now, I'd say boxing.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Oh. Now, I like both men. I really like Ronaldo. I've met him a few times in Riyadh. I've managed to interview him briefly as well. Lovely man. He's always at the boxing with His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh as his guest. But I love the left-footed skills. I loved Maradona, and I think Lionel Messi is like a modern Maradona, so it's going to be Messi.
For me, maybe Ronaldo.
You're biased. Did you meet him in Riyadh?
No.
You met him or not?
No, not yet. I'd like to interview Ronaldo.
Iris would like to interview Ronaldo, so let's tag Ronaldo in this little bit. He's an amazing man. He's out in Riyadh. Ronaldo, please give Iris an interview because she is an inspiring young journalist, sports journalist.
Yes, please, Ronaldo. I'm waiting for you.
It's an absolute pleasure and a privilege to be interviewed by you. I hope we stay friends. I wish you all the best for your career and thank you for interviewing me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.